We just got a new patch and holy crap. To say Ahri got nerfed might be a bit of an understatement. So we're going to go over her nerfs here. We're going to talk about what happened and where I think Ahri is at right now. But first things first, I will not be going over every single Ahri nerf that is on that list. Excuse me, I have written college essays that are shorter than this list of nerfs to Ahri. First things first, her staggers are worse. 5L is now -3, 2L is now -3. You can still frame trap, so that is still the same, but her staggers are now much worse. And her 5H looks the same, except it's A frame slower, and B does not go as far. Is it still a decent button? Yes, but it is definitely shorter while also being a frame slower. As well as 2M, of course, is also a frame slower. So now is it more -3 from within the previous patch, but it's also now a frame slower in general. S1. So not only does she throw them slower, because she can throw them slower. Not only is it still parryable, but they are now jumpable. So not only before were you parrying it or were you doing it, they parry it and you die. Now if you do it, they can jump over it and you die. Yay! More ways you die. S1 Super is now 6 frames worse on block, which to be fair is honestly a nerf that she probably deserved, if we're being honest here. Her S2 is now more minus on block, pushes you now further away. And the big thing, if this last part whiffs, you cannot cancel it. So for example, everything hits, you can go into S1. If the last part whiffs, you cannot cancel into anything. So if they retreating guard past it, they will punish you for it. Let's not do that bit screen anymore, okay? Okay. And then the big ones of the patch though, in my opinion at least, S1 or 2S1. Shoots out 11 frames slower. What does that mean? Our mediocre is fucked. If you want to do anything off a throw, well, guess what? Nope. Not in the slightest. If Ahri does the ground throw, it does not matter. And you think, okay, we'll just keep it short then. Since Ahri is dead, we'll be able to just use last stand assist. We can do that. Just 2H, nice short, simple combo. Nope. And then the coup de resistance made basically an absolute metric ton of changes to her moves that roughly decrease her damage by around 20%, and I don't know the exact percentage when it comes to meter gain, but they also reduce how much meter she builds. Now she's just straight up probably has the lowest damage in the game. Yeah, you might be asking yourself though, with over 9,000 characters in the patch notes about different ways that Ahri was nerfed, there is no way in hell this character is still good, or even still alive at this point, right? Well, about that. Honestly, she pretty much is still the same Ahri. The general game plan is basically still the same. You still have your air dash, you still throw projectiles to cancel, you still do spirit rush into foxfire into air dash. You still be super annoying at all times. You still have your same old high-low mix-ups. It does less damage now, but you still have them. Off of said mix-ups, you still have the ability to basically always put them in the corner and always get your limit strikes. Build meter, get break, and do all that fun stuff. Although toned down, her air buttons are still good. Her JH, although still shorter, is still a really good button. Still goes really far, still can hit pretty high, and still just in general a really good button. J2H, although just like J5H, it is a nerf button. You can't press it at the very peak anymore and expect it to hit people. That being said though, you wait a short amount of time and you can still do it. So that is barely any different as well. And you can still do the same old funny dash stuff of crossover, press buttons, and you get a cross again. Do it really high, and same thing. And to my fellow Ahri calling players out there, yes, we can still mix. Be it with the Ahri starter, or the Akali starter. We can still mix even through that. And thinking about potentially the resets, yeah, we can still do that too. And with the damage nerfs, we're probably going to need these even more than ever. The main thing though from these notes is it's just weaker. Ahri is still Ahri. That is not any different. She is just weaker. She does less damage. She doesn't get in as easily anymore. And her buttons are a bit smaller, so you have to choose your moments a little better, which overall was the goal. The main things that I've been feeling so far from these nerfs is the fact that her damage is a ton lower, and the fact that her Oki is basically just been turned into a glorified lockdown tool. Right, or you can still use your assist, for example, and still go for basically the exact same jump in that you did before as well. So there are options there still, but the options aren't as good as they once were. Basically, you can treat this Oki now in the same way as we talked about in the Ahri guide video about what you do when you use a delayed 2s1 for the Oki. It's basically just set it up and then look to either potentially bait out some kind of parry. You can go for a delay throw. You can look to run in. Try to then set up a potential left to right if they block the orb. You can do lots of different things like that. When paired together with the freestyle changes, it definitely adds up, to say the least. To definitely make her a much worse character than she was. TLDR for this entire thing, our girl is fine. Alright, she's just a weaker version of what she used to be. Before, she was perfect, right? She didn't need help. She did what she wanted, and she was really, really good at it. But now basically she needs some help. Her damage is low, so she's probably going to need someone to help account for that. Be it through tag launching, high damage supers, things like that. Her neutral isn't quite as good anymore thanks to the shorter buttons, so you might want to look for a potential neutral assist or a neutral button tag option to help her get in a little easier. Before, like I said, she did basically everything herself. She's basically almost the same as she was last patch. She's still strong. She is still Ahri. She will still more than likely piss everyone off, and they are still probably going to ask for nerfs that she didn't freaking deserve, because she definitely needed nerfs, but not some of the things they gave us. There is one thing I figured out pretty quickly during the first day though. So I did say you can't get anything from an Ahri throw. That's not technically true. You can always just look to try and get like an S2 or something, right? S2 if you're in the corner. But if you don't mind spending your full freestyle in the process, this is for Ahri Akali, I should say that first. But if you don't mind spending both tags for freestyle, and you have 1 bar of Ahri, or 1 bar on Ahri, you can still do something like this. So there is that. The tag launch timing is a little awkward, to say the least. So if you guys don't want to worry about something like that though, then you just do this. And then you can set it down as 1 and do what you do from there. So yes, there is still an option. It sucks that seems to be the only option, at least as of right now. But it is still an option to get around the massive throw nerf which is still probably the dumbest thing on the entire list, because who thought we need to nerf the grounded throw combos of the character with the worst grounded throw in the freaking game? So that being said, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know what you guys' thoughts on the patch. Did they nerf Ahri too much? But like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.